we will begin. It's a small topic. Some about 14 slides are there. Okay. So not really big topic, and part of the topic you have already done in the second year. So I will just go through that second year topic before I jump into this, so that even Ankush can familiarize, since he was not there last time. Last time meaning last year. Um, so yeah, when we say the water supply for the high-rise building, okay, we studied that there were multiple systems, okay. But let's begin with the components, and one by one we finish it up. We just brush it up briefly in 10 minutes, and then we jump to the high-rise. So obviously you have the BMC line supplying you water, which is lined out in your on the roads, besides the roads, middle of the roads, wherever, but they're underground. Now you understand that they are huge pipes. From there, when I have to get inside the building, the pressure has to reduce tremendously, and these kinds of pressure are handled by things like ferrule. Okay, you have goosenecks, and all these kind of instruments are used, and all the various valves that are used kind of creates frictions within the pipe to reduce the pressure. Okay, so from that huge pipe of the municipal, first component that comes on the pipe is the ferrule, made up of brass or lead was the old usage. Over a period of time, experiments showed that lead leaks into the water and creates really big health issues, and so now lead has stopped. So generally it is either brass or a heavy duty plastic. From there, you have the gooseneck, which again is, as the name suggests, it's very long and thin like a goose ka neck, and it kind of reduces the pressure by just allowing a longer length to it, and from bigger to smaller, and it kind of reduces. From there, it comes inside the stopcock of the BMC, where BMC has a control point where if suppose you don't pay the bill, they can come and shut off that wall. So it is under lock and key. And this is
Are you on the second slide or something? Because
no, I am not on any. I am on the first slide. Are you
oh,
not able to see?
no, no, we're able to see the
No,
wall.
I'm just saying I'm briefing up that for the last second year what we did. So before coming to this, I'm just taking them through a small journey before I bring to the high-rise buildings. Okay. So from the ferrule, you have gooseneck. From there, you have the municipal shut-off wall. Okay. Then there is inside wall. Then the line comes inside the boundary, where you again have the first thing is the water meter. Water meter ideally should be as much open or nearer the wall or near any place where you. One second, guys. Just a minute. Bijal, I'll call you after some time. Yeah, I'll call you after some time. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so it has to be nearer, or it ideally it should be in a position where people from the BMC, when they come to check your water meter, it should be easily available. It should be open. Shouldn't be under lock and key. And then ऐसा हो सकता है कि the guy is not there, and so they are not able to check. All that kind of things happen. So to avoid all that, we have it in a near the thing. From there you have unilateral walls, and then finally it goes into your UG tank. Okay, and then from there it goes to the OHT tank. ठीक है ना? And of course you have the no written non क्या बोलते हैं उसको unidirectional walls and fitting in between, so that the water runs into them in only one direction and do not come back, because if the water takes a comeback, your water meter will be showing you double the reading, because it doesn't care about the direction of the water. It just takes the water quantity that passes. So probably that is the reason why you will have unidirectional unilateral directional walls fitted within the lines. ठीक है? There is some problem here. गले में खराश. Okay, so from the UG, then you have it on the OHT. So obviously there has to be pumps, there has to be the, what do you call it, a booster pump, or you will need a normal standby pump. With the help of the pumps, the water is taken to the OHT, and from OHT you have multiple downtakes. Okay? Now all the system remains same in the high rise. कुछ बदलता नहीं है. You will have ferrule, you will have unidirectional walls, you will have everything. You OHT भी वहीं पे रहेगा, UG भी वहीं पे रहेगा. The only thing is, depending on the number of people, the size of it will vary. बराबर. Problem कहाँ पे आता है? Since we are talking about high rise, okay, and then when I'm talking about down takes, now imagine you're taking a water from 30 meters to 300 meters. Won't there be a problem? Of course, there will be a problem, because we all know that the scuba divers, when they go very deep inside the sea, they wear a special kind of a suit. That the reason is, as you go deeper, the pressure of the water increases. That is precisely the principle used even in the distribution of water. So as far as the water supply of the high-rise building is concerned, the whole supply till my OHT is fine. Same as your normal G+4, G+5, okay. It's only when the downtake happens, then there is a issue. So then based on that, there are 3 to 4 systems that we will study today. There are many, but these are the mota moti 3 systems, and then they do the varieties. Okay, so basically there are main 3 systems that we will go through today. Okay, 4 systems. One is pressure reducing, one is break pressure tanks, one is multiple tanks, and fourth one is the hydropneumatic tanks. Okay, so these are the 4 systems that we will be studying. So the calculation remains the same, because it is ultimately based on the number of people that is going to stay in the building. Plus, since now we are talking about high rise and that is going about 24 meters, what I will be doing is I'll be adding fire requirement also. Okay, so the name of the UG will now turn into something called as a static tank. Okay, so you would have, they will call a suction tank, or they will call as a static tank. Okay, so these are the new things that will be added to your UG tank. Similarly, based on our last lectures, depending whether it is a wet riser or wet riser come downcomer. If it is a downcomer, that means on the OHT also there will be some fire water, that is 20% of the total requirement. If it is only wet riser, no water is required on the OHT. Okay, till now is it clear? So everything remains same, capacity remains, I mean say the method of calculating capacity remains same, okay, plus fire. Okay, so this was how the water enters into it. So this is how the UHT, can you see the second slide now with the picture? So here you will see that this is what I showed you even in the small this thing, okay, but now this is with the fire. Okay, so the water enters, you will see the baffle wall in between, and I told you why the reason why the baffle wall is put in that large OHT tank of, say this is a commercial building and I'm having some 1 lakh liters of water which is going to stay stagnant if I don't have fire within say next 5 years, okay, which I never will want. Okay, so in such a scenario, if I have to utilize that 10 lakh of liters instead of just making it lie there stagnant and creating mosquitoes and stink and everything, I will try to rotate that water, and that is the reason why I introduced baffle wall. Okay, it is a concrete baffle wall. You cannot make such kind of a baffle wall in brick. Okay, so this is a concrete baffle wall. So वहाँ से पानी आता है, it comes down because there is no way it can go ahead, and goes down, and then it pushes that water. So this is how the water is recycled every day. And yet you see to it that at any given point of time, my building has 1 lakh liter of water provided for emergency like fire. Obviously then it goes into the domestic. Now do you see there are 2 sets of pumps there? One is a fire pump while one is the domestic pump. Okay, now fire pump jo hai, it is not connected to my OHT. No way. It is only connected to the site hydrants, sprinklers, risers, in case if there is no downcomer. But if it is a downcomer and you are having 20% of the water at the UGT level, you will use your normal domestic wala pani which is going up, which goes to the first fire tank. Again the rotation of the water happens because I don't want that water also not to stagnate, and that's the reason why this kind of setup is done. Okay, is this clear? Any questions till now? Okay, we just finished the brushing up. Coming, and so you see the hydrants ka picture below. That is how my site hydrants look, that is how my Siamese look. Okay, Okay, third slide. Now this is where we begin with the distribution of water supply in a high-rise building, because that is where the changes, major changes happen, and where the systems changes, unlike your normal G+7, G+8 buildings. Okay, so the first system that we'll be talking about is simple, very simple, absolutely mind-bogglingly simple. It's just an introduction of a wall, which is known as PRV. Okay, PRV is nothing but pressure reducing wall. It is basically a fitting which is introduced between two pipes. So it reduces the pressure. It is as simple as that. Uska jo mechanism hai, okay, which allows the fast water, okay, to reduce its speed and then allow it to go ahead. So that is a function of it. Now you will see PRV at various places. One is the distribution from in a high-rise building. You will generally see PRV also into all heating systems, especially water heating systems, because generally when you heat up the water, water will start boiling. And when water starts boiling, it kind of creates pressure. And if you don't want your boilers to burst, you need to have PRVs into the system, so that any kind of buildup of pressure, pressure is reduced by this opening of the wall, and it happens automatically. So as soon as a certain pressure is reached, it will open up, and that's how you safeguard your boilers, your geysers, and everything. Hmm? Even in the larger systems. So that's where your PRVs are used. So basically, as the name suggests, the काम भी वही है उसका. So it reduces the pressure in the line. Okay. So in this system, water storage tanks are provided on the terrace as usual. A manifold. Manifold is nothing but, you remember when we talked about that you have a straight pipe and then you have multiple downtakes taken down. Now another thing before I tell you what is a PRV is that when another system, in fact, is if you have a very tall building, say G+30, and you have to supply water to them, will you take only one downtake? That will be stupid, na? If I just take one downtake throughout from the 30th floor to the ground floor, मेरा ground वाला pipe है ना burst हो जाएगा. It will start busting, okay? Because the pressure will be so tremendous. So of course I'm going to introduce PRV, but there are other methods as well. So what is ideally they do is they divide the building into these sections. First 7, second 7, third 7, and then बाकी का जो भी है. So in 30, obviously it will be like 7, 7, 7, and then remaining. Okay. Or they will do 6, 6, 6, 6, and whatever. So that is how they will divide the building, and accordingly they will have that many number of down pipes. So now you imagine, I hope I have a diagram. I don't think I have the diagram for pressure reducing, because there is really no diagram, but I will show you a diagram. 1 second. Can you see the diagram? You want me to go full screen? 1 second. Where is the damn full screen? Yeah. So this is how. Do you see the first system? Yeah. This is my pressure reducing wall. Okay. Can you see the screen, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the first highlighted system that I'm showing here on the screen is your PRV system. So if you see the orange or the brown line is the one which is supplying. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 arrows at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arrows at the. So it's basically 5, 4, and then multiple. So that's how you will have the pipelines being distributed among the 30 floors. Is this part clear? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Somebody?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Okay. Now just imagine this line.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Now, first 6 floors. Very easy, na? Aram se, OHT se nikla, pani gaya, done, finish. No problem. No PRV required. Another 6, chalo, 12 bhi main chala sakti hu. When it comes to the 18th floor, after 12th, okay, 6 plus 6 so finished. But once it reaches 13th floor, matlab, I mean, I'm counting from the top, huh? Not from the bottom. So 30, 29, 28, that way. So counting from the top, when the 13th floor is reached, okay, I will need to introduce my PRV. So what happens is, from the top of the OHT till the 13th floor, there is no supply. It's only one single pipe, because ऊपर के 6 और बाकी के 6 को तो दूसरा pipe supply कर रहा है. So that pipe which is coming from the OHT and supplying to the 13th floor, the introduction of the PRV will happen at the 13th floor, counting from the top. So that's how the things are done. Clear? And similarly for the other pipes. So that is how your PRV introduction in the line will help you to reduce the pressure, and I can easily, very comfortably, without minimum, with minimum, क्या बोलते हैं, spending of money, I can have a very good system in place. The question here is, if the requirement of the water is high, meaning your building is very complex and it has like these multiple things where you have these floating population coming left, right, center, you have huge commercial, like malls hai, banquet halls hai, you have restaurants happening all around, all 30 floors is only commercial, then you have a problem because the water intake is going to be huge. Not only that, 1 lakh liter of fire to hey, that is there. Okay, but I am also talking about the intake of water because it's a commercial, you really don't know, so you really have to plan well. You really require consultants who will come and actually work out the number of liters that will be required. Okay, you will give me a mota moti figure, but when you have such a complex situations, you will really require help from the BMC officials or the people who are actually there to help you calculate the amount of water that will be needed for such a complex kind of a building. So you do that, okay, and then you say, oh gosh, this is too much, I have humongous amount of water requirement. How do I then go about it? Okay, so then comes the second system in place. Okay, the second system in place is, I am not going to talk about break pressure, I will talk about it later on, but first we will do the second tank, is the multiple tank. Okay, so obviously I have fire, I have this huge domestic requirement, I have double water tank requirement for flushing, because more or less people will be using that facility more than eating and all that. So I have to really give a very huge water supply. How do I then distribute the load or the system? Because my first criteria is, how do I avoid bursting of pipes, because that is what is going to happen, and of course the load. So look at it, it's very clear diagram na. ऊपर एक OHT है, the large one, okay, that will be the overall, and then you have OHT2, OHT3. Okay, can you see my cursor? Can you see my cursor?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yes, great. Yeah, yeah. So this is OHT1. Okay. This is OHT2 and this is OHT3. Okay. Now, this is where you can actually specify your engineer, or engineer can specify you. It works either way. Design can happen either way. You can say, okay, I'm going to have 3 pumps. One pump will supply to OHT1, one will supply to 2, and one will supply to 3. Now the other guy will say, अरे यार लेकिन ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे भी हो सकता है. In that case, I will supply to the top OHT. With the help of the gravity, I will allow that pipe to come to the OHT 2 and 3, and automatically the tanks will be filled. You understand? Now that is easier, right? It is also sustainable because I'm not going to run 3 pumps. I'm going to run only 1 pump. So that is, so there are various ways it can be done. So if you have 3 pumps, you will require 3 standbys, you will require 3 running. So obviously the electric bill will be high, and if something goes wrong, that tank will not be filled at all. So in a gravity system works well. So what generally the thing is that the one large pump will take the water to the top, fill the OHT, and while it is filling, जैसे जैसे पानी उसमें भरता है, there is a downtake which takes a special downtake of a larger size. Okay, your normal downtakes are generally the pipes that enter your house is about 12 mm to 15 mm, right? But obviously when it's a high-rise building, the pipes will not be so small. They will go on reducing. It becomes telescopic or ulta. So that's how it will happen. But in this case, what will happen is, so you will take the water to the OHT. वहाँ से एक special downtick आएगा which will take to what OHT2 and then OHT3, and then OHT2 will supply to the can you see my cursor, to that many flats. OHT3 will supply to that many flats, okay, or that many floors with that many flats. So that is how you distribute not only the load of the structure on the structure, but of the water supply as well. And plus you are reducing the water because this is at 7th floor. Normally I would keep these at the place where there are refuge floors. So along with the refuge, I will arrange for a little extra area, okay, and keep my tanks there, okay. But in an extremely high-rise buildings like say Burj Khalifa. Sure, I forgot to get that. Maybe next time I'll show you. There's a very beautiful video. I can send you the link on the to the CRs, and CRs can then see it. There is a beautiful video of a water supply done in Burj Khalifa, animated. It's a very nice one. So how are they distributing it? It's precisely there. And when you have such a large building, like 130 floors, 150, like unimaginable load, unimaginable numbers, unimaginable complexity. Okay, everywhere it's too high. In such a scenario, they have special floors called as mechanical floors. Hmm? And mechanical floors means nothing but, in another simpler terms, is service floors. Have I talked to you about service floors ever? Yes or no, guys? I don't think so. Did I ever talk to you about service floors?
No.
No, right? मुझे लगा ही था. The reason is I have not yet taught you high rise. High rise will probably come in fourth year. So we'll be talking about service. But anyway, its service is very simple. Whatever is the name, it's its job, you know. So service floor means the floor which has all the services on it is known as a service floor. So generally a service floor, since we are talking about high rise, let me tell you, and you can please write this down, because this is a common question asked in a jury and people really get trapped here. Okay, what is the difference between a service floor and a refuge floor? Can somebody tell me? This is like basic. I've just said what is a service floor. Okay, before I go into the detail, what is the main difference between a service floor and a refuge floor? Can somebody tell me? It could be a wild guess, I don't mind, but do guess.
Refuge floor is for like during fires to people to gather, and from there
Yes.
they can be extracted.
Yes. And what is service floor then?
Then service floor is basically for all the equipments, let's say motor and
Okay.
maybe MCBs and all that thing are kept there.
Great.
So
Awesome.
that could be the place where fire begins. Something.
Awesome. Very good. Now, another difference is, but actually it's not the great difference, but yeah, I will just say it. If I'm talking about a case like Burj Khalifa, and if I'm taking about a case like, say, a five-star hotel like Taj. Hmm? If it is a five-star hotel like that, Taj is not so big, na? It is like G plus 16, 17, 18. इतना कुछ है, बहुत बड़ा नहीं है. In Taj or say Oberoi's or Trident, wherever these high-rise buildings and these heavy five-star hotels are, you have rooms, residences on the top. ठीक है ना? Where you have toilets and the ducts are going to come down with all those pipes coming down. But niche at the ground level, you have these beautiful lounges, some theme restaurants happening there, coffee shops are happening there, and amazing stuff is happening there. All commercial. People just come, sit, have breakfast, go, have lunch, go, and all that things happen. Imagine in such a nice layout, you have these various 6 meters पे आपके ducts नीचे आ रहे हैं. Is it a good side? No. So I need to break this pattern. And that pattern is broken at the service floor. So what happens at the service floor is your duct stops there. And ICs, which is generally happening at the ground floor, happens on the service floor. Okay. So I'll show you the service floor ka plan and sections and all that, but not here. We are dealing with water here, but I just wanted to tell you. So like service floor now, and this was about a small building, G plus 18, 20, 30, whatever. Now we are talking about Burj Khalifa, okay, or even taller buildings than that. That is being planned now, somewhere in Saudi only. If that kind of humongous buildings are planned, you also need a set of mechanical floors, because like these multiple tanks, there are ACs, centralized AC plants. Now I cannot blow chilled air, which is already very heavy, all the way up. Na itna 30 floor, 40 floor pe mera kitna bhi मैं pump लगाऊं, it will not be useful and sustainable. So at every multiple service floors, there will be these AC plants. There can be water. Okay, there can be service floors. So even the sewage will rush down. So that can be trapped and taken out, or there can be STP tanks at that level. So multiple services can happen, which can be catered for that particular height of the building to reduce these massive loads and the flow and the pressure within the services system. ठीक है ना? So that is the service floors, okay, or the mechanical floors. These are the various terms that is being used. So coming back to the water supply, this is how the multiple tank systems will work. Your job as an architect would be to figure out what will be the capacity, what will be the size, which you know how to do. Okay, same formula. what you did for UG and OHT will apply here. So यहाँ पे ground floor, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, nine, 9 पे कितने लोग हैं, उनका जो भी requirement का पानी है, that will happen here. Now the other question is, do I have partition within this? Of course, I want both water now. I need water for my WC as well as I need water in the kitchen. So there will be, just like my OHT, there will be water in the this thing. Will there be a fire there? No, no fire. Fire is only one. Because as I told you, what is the problem with fire? जिधर पानी है उधर pump चाहिए. क्यों मुझे pumps बढ़ाना है? So I will not have water there. Okay, I will either have at the topmost OHT or at the UGT level, and my fire is done. So in between tanks will not have fire. Okay, there's no point. That is how my multiple tank system is done. ठीक है? Any questions in this?
Meena, where are these tanks actually placed on the floor?
Anywhere. Obviously, I would place it where there are toilets or kitchen. है ना? Based on how the thing is planned, I will place it, but you will need to give me a place, okay? And where is that place generally available? In a refuge floor. So in a refuge floor, I can, what can I do is, I will remove whatever that 4% of the area is that we discussed in the fire section. I will calculate. So what is the 4%? So again, please look at my cursor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, 9 पे नहीं होता है, 7 पे होता है. Refuge floor is on every 8th floor, 15th, after every 7th floor. Okay. But then I also explained that there are architects who uses at 6th floor, 4th floor, probably to get the elevational things in place, and it is allowed.
That's something there. So recently again there was a modification in the rule. While the refuge floor was supposed to be on 7th floor now, because that meant that a lot of architects who had to go like 10 floors and all that, they had to wait for a lot of permissions. They've modified the rules now.
Yeah.
Now what they've said is that anything you can have the refuge floor above 30 meters, which is essentially like 9th floor.
Yeah.
So it's also important to keep up with these kind of changes, because the developers and the BMC and then the people who create the DCRs, they always, have these maneuvers, they compromise with each other and keep modifying these also.
Agreed. And as I said, this modification can also happen with the client itself. I mean, with the architect itself.
Right, the design.
From the design point of view, I want these gaps here. I want the floor to open up, or I want to give ventilation, or I want to create some kind of open area. It can be any imagination or concept. So based on that also, he can say, instead of giving refuge floor at every 7 floors, I'm giving it at 6 floors, or maybe 4 floors, or maybe unequal floors. Chalta hai. As long as the required stipulation is maintained, is arrived at, these kind of little deviations, you have to, of course, take the permission. It will take a lot of time. You have to go out of your way to do that. But if you are zealous enough, if you are passionate enough, you will do it. Okay, having said that, what Ankush said is right. The DCR has done these changes and modification, and so if it's always good to know where you are dealing with and in which city. So every city will have its own set of regulations. You will need to follow that. Okay. So multiple tanks. So as I said, you have a refuge floor, and then so maybe say I remove one big flat out of it. Whereas somebody said, "मैं tanks कहाँ रखूँ?" Ideally, I would keep it right where the water is required, right? So that easily water can go into the duct without, pushing pipes here and there. Especially, guys, you are in a refuge floor. I cannot afford to have any pipes on the floor. एक तो smoke आ रहा है, भले ना वो smoke जाएगा. It is open to sky, but still smoke will come. And it can create visibility problems if it is billowing, that huge dark kind of a smoke. Now, if that is the thing, you cannot afford to have the pipes. I'm sure all of you have always criticized when we go to the terrace कि ये बीच पे pipes क्यों run हो रहा है? It is kind of stopping us from playing here. People stumble on the pipes. So that happens at the terrace level. Now, if a good designer will not even do that at a terrace level, I would rather run the pipes on the wall. थोड़ा बहुत खर्चा मैं एक time कर लेगा, but then my whole terrace opens up for various reasons. I can give it out. It can be for parties. It can be, kids can play up there. So a lot of things can happen. But if you do this, it's completely blocked. So similar care has to be taken when you put the tank. So yeah, a good question. Where should I put the tank? Put a tank in such a manner, and if you cannot put a tank in such a manner where it is right above the toilet, because आपका तो 3-4 flats है ना, तो obviously सबके दो toilets होंगे. You can't put tank 1 tank 2 tank on the same floor. Not done that way, but so wherever you are doing it, see to it that the piping is done very sensitively. You cannot have people tumbling there.
Hello.
Yes.
I had a question, Meera. So basically, whenever like generally we design a building, so they say that the tank has to be, the OHT has to be above the staircase, because if there's a hazard
Yes.
that happens, it
Yes.
would all
Yes.
flow down the staircase.
Right. You are right.
So in this case,
In this
do
case
we
also it follows the same thing. So you have height of how much? 9 feet.
have,
Barabar. What did we say? Obviously the size of the tank will not be so large as the large OHT at the top, na? So what I
Yeah.
can do is I can compromise on the little part of the water. I can have a thinner kind of a slab, OHT ka size, but I still need to keep 4 feet. Yeah, actually speaking 5 feet. But if I keep 5 feet and the tank का भी 5 feet है तो 10 feet हो जाता है. मेरा टैंक का फिर साफ कैसे करेगा, ऊपर से आदमी जाएगा कैसे नीचे. सो आई विल कीप bare minimum 3 feet below, okay, so that a person can crawl in that 3 feet and do any checking business if he has to do from below the tank if it is leaking. At the same time, I am having 3 feet above. 3 feet is a good space to crawl. So a person, if a plumber has to crawl in a tank to clean it, he can do that. Okay. So keeping that in mind, you will design the tank.
all
Got
right.
it? Yeah. So yes, there are limitations. Okay. And that's why the service floors, when they are designed, these kind of criteria will be very important. So as I just explained, if it is say Burj Khalifa and you are designing a service floor and or a mechanical floor, and you are saying that I'm going to put my mechanical plant there, mechanical meaning AC plant there. AC plant का size is humongous. वो तुम्हारा 10 फीट से काम ही नहीं करेगा, तो उसको आपको 12 फीट देना ही पड़ता है. तो इन दैट केस यू विल हैव टू चेंज योर फ्लोर का साइज. ओके. एंड देन यू नो वेयर द वर्स्ट थिंग कैन हैपन इज योर स्टेप्स. व्हेन यू डू योर फायर एस्केप्स ना, उधर बहुत ध्यान से आपको, क्योंकि अभी तक योर फ्लाइट वाज 10 फीट. हाँ, दैट इज 10 फीट इज 3.3 मीटर. सो एवरीवेयर द हाइट इज 3.3 मीटर. सडनली बीच में सर्विस फ्लोर आता है एंड इट बिकम्स 4 फीट, आई मीन 4 मीटर्स. You have to manage the steps without people stumbling there. वो कैसे करना है, it's your deal, but you have to do that. Yeah, so that was about the multiple tanks. Any questions?
Yeah, Meena,
बोलो.
according to the new DCR thing, after every 30 meters, there's a refuge floor or service.
No, refuge and service are different. Service, as I said, is mainly for the services. So I will put all my tanks, my ICs, my mechanical things, my plant rooms, or anything that needs to be serviced will come on a service floor.
So that after how many floors then?
So it depends. Nah, that is not regularly done unless, as I said, like Burj Khalifa is like a humongous building. So at every 15-20 floors, you will need to introduce a service floor. But when I'm talking about a nominal building like say Oberoi's or maybe Stock Market, which we have it in our Bombay, which was one of the tall building at that time. When it was built, it was like, wow, it's such a big building. Because if you see it, that was sticking out like a sore thumb from that area. And so after that, lot many other buildings came. But when that was built, okay, the idea was how would you then do the systems here? And so then do I need a service floor there? वहाँ पे ज़रूरत नहीं है. Why? Because all floors are only commercial. One public toilet is going to run throughout. So public toilet के ऊपर public toilet ही आएगा ना. So there I don't need a service floor. But service floor कहाँ पे चाहिए? When there are these shift in the typology. Residential से commercial, commercial से residential. So in Burj Khalifa, if you see the top floors are residential, some floors, then you have again some commercial, then again you have residential, and residential meaning those kinds, you know, service apartments kind, but they are residential in nature. Again, then you have commercial. But when you have residential, obviously it means that every house, every home, every unit will have a toilet, and that means it will have lines going down. Now, how will you allow those lines to come into commercial is my problem, and so I introduce a service floor. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear. So
Yeah.
what happens in a refuge floor then?
A
Except
refuge floor is to stand. हवा खाने के लिए, literally. Because you are stuffy inside, there is so much of smoke, people are dying, people cannot have oxygen there, and so they introduce refuge floor. It's like the name suggests, it is a refuge from the smoke.
All around Bombay, you must have noticed a lot of these buildings which will have maybe the seventh floor, eighth floor, it will have completely empty floors. You won't even see
Yeah.
windows there. You'll just have the
Yes.
openings and all of that. That's actually the refuge floor.
Yeah. Or if you see, if you saw in the, if you remember my fire का PPT, जहाँ पे वो shoots दिखा रहे थे, they were showing those shoots coming down
Yeah.
in a hap. So that was actually a refuge floor. People can even stand there because it is outside, na? It is like a balcony. So many times you see a large kind of a balcony jutting out at 8th, 15th, then you will wonder ये हर जगह पे क्यों नहीं किया है? सबको फायदा होता, लेकिन ये फायदे के लिए नहीं था. ये refuge floor है, okay? So it is a 4% of the नीचे का thing. So that is my refuge floor, where the only purpose is, in case of fire, when people do not know what to do and where to go because the visibility is nil, you have sick people with you or you have old people with you who cannot travel down, and you don't have chute system in place, the least you can do is stand in the refuge floor, okay, where at least you will breathe till somebody figures out how to rescue you. Is that clear?
Meenal,
Yeah.
Yes.
now in these buildings, new high-rise buildings, they have like 4 to 5 floors parking, and then these flats start. So this refuge floor
Yes.
is from 30 meters from the ground, or the point where the floors actually start.
Oh, lovely idea. Lovely question. आपको क्या लगता है? What do you think?
I think from where the floors start, because already the area where if there's the fifth floor top parking, so that will be anyways an open parking, and then there will be the stilted parking, and then there will be the floor starting. So maybe after 30 meters after the floor starts.
Okay. Okay. Now let me tell you. The refuge was designed or always kept at 8th floor, 24 meters was in the old times. Abhi, as Ankush rightly said, the DCRs have changed because technology has changed. There are new things in the market. Now there was a limitation कि उनका वो जो ladder होता था ना, they would come with a ladder, बराबर? वो ladder had a limitation. So if they had to rescue someone, that ladder would reach only at that level. That was 8th floor. And that is why they said that the first refuge floor has to be at the 8th floor. But now with the new technology, with these kind of foldable things and a more sturdier metals being used, okay, with more foldable technology in place, okay, things can go really beyond. So today, it can be higher than the 8th floor, and as rightly said, at 10th floor and above. So that's how then things have changed. But yes, so essentially that is my first criteria when I decide my refuge floor. And that's why the rush is towards the first refuge floor, never on the top. I mean, of course, if I have very disabled person with me, I will obviously have to support him or her and stand wherever the nearest refuge floor is, irrespective whether I can reach down or below or whether somebody can reach me. Okay, but at least I can stand there and breathe fresh air and at least survive for few more hours. Then it's destiny. But these are the reasons why refuges are designed. But as I said, these are the criteria in deciding even which floor will be the refuge floor. Clear?
Yeah.
Nahin, clear nahi
No.
hoga.
So the thing was, will it be like from the ground? If you take it, will it be like 10th floor or 9th floor from the ground, or from the fifth floor
I would
park?
no, it would be from the ground because again, as I said, limitation of the ladder. So my first would be
Even
10th
the
floor.
building rules themselves, they don't specify number of floors. It's
They
always
go
the
by
height, right?
they
Like
go by
24
the height.
meters or 30 meters. That's because, like Minu said, it's the ladder. It basically access
Yeah.
from the ground to that refuge floor. So it always starts from the ground.
It always starts from the ground because of the ladder limitation.
Yeah.
Okay, now a good question, but I'm actually enjoying this lecture today because I'm
Yeah,
getting a
the
lot of
kind of questions
questions.
I've been hearing in
I
this
am
class
loving
are
it.
at nice, huh? This one was nice. I remember that fire lift wala time there was a question like what happens if the fire lift does not go on every floor and there's a handicapped person. That
Yeah.
was like a very nice question.
Yep. So
Again,
good.
very
So
I
this
like this
question
class.
also, yeah. Now to go further is where was I? What I was saying? If suppose, no, I actually forgot the point. But anyways, so yeah, it's a good question. But shit, I wanted to say something and I just forgot. Anyways, जब याद आएगा तो I'll say. But yes, I got it. Suppose your floors are commercial floors, and it's not 3, it's not even 4. So if you see these Shopper Stop and all that, they are like huge. So every floor is like really tall. So in such a scenario, probably your 10, whatever the height specified will be just 3 floors or 4 floors or 5 floors, whatever. So you understand now what is the difference between floor and height? Floor could be in a normal nominal residential case, it can be 10 floors. But if it is like, as I said, say a big, large, unusual commercial place, then it can be different. And that's why go by the meters, not by the floors. Yeah, got it? I hope this is clear.
Yes.
So yeah, and that's why suppose आपने 5 लिया, 15 पे आप 3 floor का ही building बना है, but the restriction of height is say only 30, आप 45 पे पहुंच गए हो. So in such a scenario, what they do now, the another best way of dealing with the refuge floor, and this is really wonderful, and that is from the mid landing of the staircase. Okay, so the escape, so because that can be achieved within that area, within that height requirement of the first refuge floor, and that is, suppose aapka landing is way above the ladder ka height for whatever reason. Okay, could be any reason. Now, if that is the case, then there's a problem, na? Because I cannot do gadbad with the staircase. People will fall and die. So I have to keep a regular staircase, but then I'll take it little down, and from the mid landing of my staircase, which is within the height of the stair of the ladder that the fire guys can reach, okay, what I'll do is I'll create a slab, a large kind of a slab where people can escape and stand there. So that is another way of looking at the refuge floor, and you will see this kind of a refuge floor happening in many buildings where it is not the landing से नहीं जाता है और neither, और इसमें फायदा क्या है? You can save a flat. I don't need to eliminate a flat. तो मेरा पैसा भी बचता है. Builder is very happy when you give this kind of a solution. At the same time, you get an elevational treatment because at every 7th floor or every 4th or whatever your design is, you get these kind of a big terrace, okay, which become, and then you treat that terrace architecturally, and so you get an element. So yeah, so that is how another way of looking at the refuge floor. Anyway, so any more questions regarding multiple tank and refuge and service floor? Please let it come. Don't feel shy. I'm okay to answer. Done? Are we done with the questions? So can I go ahead with the next system? Hello? I guess so. Okay. So the third system that we'll do is the brake pressure tank. Okay. I think there is a problem in this drawing, and I should have done this a smaller square. And I'll tell you what is the problem here. So again, you know, these log sochne ke to bahut aisa, people love to think, you know, and create new systems in place. So this is just a deviation from multiple tank. It is same. Okay, there is no difference in it. Same hai. Difference सिर्फ यही है कि people started thinking, why should I even load my say 9th floor and 18th floor or whatever the floors the second tank is with that amount of water? Is there a way where I can reduce my, because you understand guys, the terrace का जो slab रहता है ना वो थोड़ा अलग बनता है compared to your normal slab, because terrace takes all these point loads like these huge water tanks, huge lift machine rooms, okay, in case of air conditioning, huge cooling towers. तो इतने सारे multiple point loads आते हैं तुम्हारे, not like UDL, like uniformly distributed loads नहीं होते हैं, which what happens on a normal slab level where you have 4-5 flats happening and सबके घर में equal kind of furniture is happening and all that kind of stuff. So it is more or less UDL, but not so in a terrace. So terrace is designed little differently and little more sturdily. So imagine you introducing these kind of loads at say 8th floor, 9th floor, or wherever the service floor is, or wherever you are keeping these tanks. थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. And so people started giving it a thought and saying कि what if we design a system whereby we take care of the structure as well as the services. And so they came up with this brake pressure tank. So what is the name? Break the pressure. And what does it mean? जो नाम है वो काम है. And that means कि what is my peak load? So say you are designing for a residential building, okay? We'll talk about commercial later. If this is a peak load of a residential building is generally in the mornings, okay? And then in the evening stretch when people return and they cook and all that, okay? Or sometimes people wash clothes at night because mujhe subah time nahi hai, whatever. So morning and evening are the two peak times that they imagine will create this kind of a rush job for water to happen. And so they calculate the number of people, they calculate the total amount of water, and then they calculate the peak load demand. इसके लिए again there are no formulas for that. It's a simple thing. You need a consultant, okay? So you ask a consultant कि I need to design a brake pressure tank system, or probably he will suggest you or she will suggest you, whoever. And so this is how the things are. I'm telling you the theory, okay? Practicality and the consultation, of course, will happen in the market, and people are there to do it for you. So they will come and tell you कि peak load पे इतना पानी आपको use करना है आपको और आएगा, okay? So you design tank only for that, so that my peak load is taken care of. When there is no peak, पानी तो रहेगा ही ना. So that is how I reduce instead of giving full amount, all 7 floors into whatever number of people into 135 liters, that means 45 here and 90 there, okay, including all that, मैं पूरा का पूरा पानी दिया तो load बढ़ जाता है. Instead, I take care of only peak load, and I reduce the structure so that I don't have to do much changes with my structural load, and I don't have to really think about creating new structure for that, or you actually have to create concrete pads for this. ऐसा कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता है. And so it becomes easier for an architect and for the structural engineer to deal with this kind of this. So this was a slight deviation from the multiple tank, but more or less in the same thing. So how the supply is done? Again, it goes to the OHT, main OHT. From there, by gravity, it will go to each of this. So जब तक peak का पानी use होता है, so see, it's like this. Suppose if it is being supplied. So if you see my cursor and you see the blue rectangle, the second tank where my cursor is. Suppose it is being supplied to third floor, and so the water is being used here. So obviously the water from the OHT will be going on supplying it. So that kind of thing allows me for the water to be circulated and that tank can remain full all the time. So this is another way of tackling services and structure together. Baki principles remain the same. Is this clear, the difference between multiple tank and a brake pressure tank?
Meena, so in multiple tanks, the water is pumped to different OHTs.
You can, I say, there are two methods. You can do that. But then what did I say? Every pump will need a standby.
Yeah,
So
like
jitna
according to
pumps,
the diagram, is that I didn't quite catch the.
So I have shown both. And in the multi-pressure, I have shown only one. That only one goes up and then you have the downtakes happening. So that's why I was trying to show you two different methods of pumping. But even in the multiple pressure tank भी मैं ऐसा कर सकती हूँ कि I take one pump goes to tank 1, second pump goes to second tank, third pump goes to third, and so forth so forth. पर इतने सारे pumps रखना, is it viable, is it good, is it sustainable, is something we have to think, okay? Because as I increase the number of pumps, I will have to increase the space, and then I have to increase the standby. So it has too much of rippling effect. So what I would do is, okay, so if you see my blue rectangle, and if you see the red rectangle, okay, one is where you are using multiple pumps, one system. Other system is you supply water to the blue tank on the top where my cursor is, and then by gravity it supplies here, but it basically works the same, okay? Just the sustainability का factor मैंने ऊपर से डाला है, and so I would prefer this system. Got it? But you are right, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. Nobody can stop you doing that, or nobody can say it is a wrong system. But when I'm doing a comparison, probably the other guy will win. Got it? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, so like one last thing. So like when the water is supplied directly to the top OHT and then it comes down to the OHTs at different levels. So that is brake pressure system, right?
No, see, okay, good. You have multiple tank. What is there in a multiple? How will I calculate the size of the tank?
According to the number of floors it applies to.
Yes. Here you don't do that. You design the tank according to the only peak hour. I don't say, suppose यहाँ पे if you see both the tanks are at the same level, ठीक है, where my cursor is moving, ठीक है. So in a multiple tank, I would say there are 100 people in this many number of floors. Okay, 9 floors है, उसमें 100 लोग रहते हैं. Okay, तो यहाँ पे कितना पानी आएगा? 135 into 100, 13,500 का tank I will make. But the peak requirement is only 7,500. In the morning, this much water is used. Okay, and then throughout the day there are hardly any people there. लोग काम पे चले जाते हैं, बच्चे ट्यूशन चले जाते हैं, only old parents are there. So hardly 4,000, 5,000 is remaining. So then the question here is, why will I want to load this kind of a slab with this kind of water? So I will design my tanks only for 7,500. So at the peak time, I am not hassled. And also a lot of these systems now, guys, I am not going into the intricacy, but it will require a lot of these fittings, self operating fittings, like you will have unidirectional walls between. So as soon as water is emptied from here, water यहाँ से चालू होके ये भरता जाता है. Okay, so actually brake pressure tank works far better than your multiple tanks. Got it? And how do you control the flow of water? आप बोलोगे अरे overflow होगा तो third floor पे कौन जाएगा, 10th floor पे कौन जाएगा? So you have these float valves, okay? Or other word is ball balls, okay? It's like a floating ball, and it that you will have it in even in your cistern, your WC cistern that you have, okay? So as soon as that ball, and I told you this in the second year, that when it lifts, पानी जैसे जैसे भरता है, it's a very floating kind of a thing. So it lifts the ball, but at the edge, ball को एक लकड़ी रहता है, and it has a flap at the end of that लकड़ी. So as the ball rises, the flap closes the opening, and the water stops. So that is automatic control of water. Got it? So similarly, all your tanks has that. So that is how it is done. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, my tanks of brake pressure tank is far more actually sustainable. So, and it works both ways. Okay. So these are the three systems which are simple. Okay, which are kind of sustainable. They work on their own. एक बार पानी चढ़ा दिया फिर आप आराम करो. All that kind of stuff can happen. But not so with the hydropneumatic, which is the last system. Okay, now that is the hydropneumatic system. Everything is mechanized here. Everything works on the pump. The problem ये है, this is not sustainable in many ways. First of all, obviously it eats into electricity, it eats into what do you call, your bills, your money, everything. Besides that, it is little problematic also. If you have by chance any electric issues, say during your flooding, or तुम्हारा कुछ भी हो सकता है, anyway, even for 10 minutes there is no electricity, water will stop, and that is bad. So if you have a hydropneumatic system, then the second important thing that you need to have in your services rooms will be a generator. Because for whatever reason the electricity cut होता है, या तुम्हारा कुछ फ्यूज चला जाता है, या तुम्हारे बिल्डिंग में कोई मेजर इश्यू चल रहा है, या मेंटेनेंस इश्यू चल रहा है regarding electricity, your water supply बंद हो जाएगा. So I cannot connect that to ना. I mean, I can stay without electricity. दिया लेके हम रह सकते हैं, but can I stay without water? Impossible. So then that is somewhere where hydropneumatic systems are not very favorite systems of the people, and you will rarely see these systems in use, especially in a commercial area. So where do you use these systems? You use these systems in extremely metropolitan areas where you are assured of 24 hours power. You definitely cannot go for these kind of systems where you are aware कि यहाँ पे तो 2 घंटे के लिए भी अगर light जाता है तो problem है. So that is a big issue. What are the advantages of the system? Advantage ये है कि I don't need OHT. Complete OHT can be removed from the system because hydropneumatic system is attached to my UGT, okay, and I can have a very easy supply of water to my any floors you want, okay. So I don't need OHT. So ये वाला जो system है ना, ये generally you will see them being used near airport areas where people want to go to the max height, okay. Now an OHT is almost, if you see a large building, your OHT can be really large, okay. So if I want to build right till the real capacity, I can eliminate my OHT, build a whole floor there, sell it, make my money, and then ask my clients to pay through their nose throughout the year, year after year, year after year. Because I to made and went. I am an architect. I gave them a solution. They agreed, and I went. But they are staying there, and they are going to pay the bill year after year. So these are some of the pros and cons of the hydropneumatic system. So now, what is the system? Okay, so this is the diagram. You can see this diagram. So again, यहाँ पे I have purposely made that ऐसे भी होता है कि there are multiple pumps. So you see there is a 2 set of pumps for each line. One is your normal pump and one is the standby pump. Okay. So tank 1 you have 2 pumps. Tank 2 you have 2 pumps. So imagine, not a very feasible idea, na? Not a very great idea also. Can you imagine what will be the size of your pump room? Humongous. Who wants to have that? Okay, I would like to hide my pump room. So I would go for one pump. I will go up to the reservoir and I'll connect my reservoir 3 and reservoir 2 zone to my reservoir top. Okay, na? So this shows and the downtake you can see one tank is taking care of that many number of zone. Okay. Okay, coming to your hydropneumatic system. So in this system, the water supply is made through a hydropneumatic pressure vessel. Okay, you require not only a UG tank, okay, which will also now have the 100% plus 50% plus fire, because you are talking about high rise. So it's going to be like a massive tank. Okay. But next to that, not only the pumps and everything will be required, but you will require something called as a pneumatic pressure vessel room, where you need to house these kind of machines where it will function to make possible that even the water at the highest level will get with the same kind of pressure. So what is the thing we'll study? And fitted with accessories like non-written walls, pressure relief walls. Again, yahan pe bhi you will have PRVs, okay? And this PRV is not for the line, it is for the vessel, where if there is an extra pressure within a vessel, I need to eliminate that, otherwise my vessel will burst. Each zone of supply should be restricted to about 7 stories or 20-meter height, whichever is less, okay? The capacity of the pump should be such as to cope up with the peak demand of the occupants. Because I'm talking only of the electricity, my pump has to be on throughout the time. And so I cannot do compromise of my pump, which I can do little bit when I have a gravity system. एक ही बार चलाना है ना दिन में, कहाँ मुझे करना है, तो I can little bit have that चलता है attitude. Not so when I'm doing this. Completely. In fact, I would design my pumps to a maximum optimization in a way that they will function better. So even if my requirement is 1, I will give 1.5 ताकि वो चले अच्छे से, and it will not be under any kind of wear and tear. So normally 3 pumps called the lead pumps, okay? Lead meaning leader wala pump, not the lead यानी material wala pump. The supplementary pump and the standby pump respectively are provided. So because I'm talking about pushing water all the way up and no OHTs, okay, I will require booster, and that's my supplementary pump. The last pump is preferably diesel driven and to serve where there is a power failure, okay? But usually even if it is a diesel driven and all that, you will require large space, and generally people don't opt for it and it's too messy. So yeah, as soon as the demand exceeds the capacity of the lead pump, the supplementary pumps must start automatically. इसका मतलब क्या हो गया okay, at some point of time, your pressure will reach a limit, and that's why you need to boost it. So maybe your 16th floor is the limit for the lead pump. After that, probably water will require more pressure, and for that reason, you apply supplementary or the booster pump. Hmm? The hydropneumatic system should be an airtight, basically is an airtight vessel. Shape is not necessarily cylindrical. Okay, cylindrical सिर्फ इसलिए होता है and preferable, it gives least friction. And fabricated from mild steel plate. So it's basically a metal drum. The capacity of the tank should be equivalent to 3 minimum requirement. ये समझना ज़रूरी है. What does this mean? What does this mean? It means that, okay, if I require 100 liters, okay, for my entire building, my requirement is 100 liters. What will be the capacity of my hydropneumatic system? का वो drum का जो capacity कितना होना चाहिए? Minimum equivalent to 3 minimum requirements. Okay, I should have little bit 3 नहीं तो कम से कम 2. We should have 200 liters in it. So capacity उतना होना चाहिए. And let me tell you, when I say capacity of 200 liters, वो 200 पानी का नहीं होता है. नहीं तो आप बोलोगे अरे ये तो अच्छा है, 100 इधर 200 इधर तो 300 लीटर पानी. No way. This drum has 1/3 of it filled with water. It has, so sorry, 200 nahi, sorry. It 3 times, okay. So it is lesser than 100. So 75 hota hai, sorry. Okay, it is 1/3 hona chahiye, not 3. It is 1/3 of the minimum required. So it is, or rather, no, there is a problem in this sentence. I'll get back to you next time. This is wrong. Okay, it should be 1/3. So if it is 100, it should be about 3/4 of that. That is around 75. Okay, क्यों? Because that 1/3 of the top is into pressurized air, and I'll show you the picture. The air compressor is also necessary to feed air into the vessel from time to time, so as to maintain the required air water ratio in the vessel. Okay, now I'll show you the thing before I talk about this. Yeah, do you see this? Okay, now do you see this? Do you see this blue color ka things? Okay, they are compressors. So unka job hai to compress the air into this vessel, cylindrical drum, which is placed right next to your UG tank. Okay, so kya hota hai? From the UG, water will enter into your cylindrical drum, that is your hydropneumatic cylinder. Okay, into the same cylinder, one side se pani aata hai, one side se compressed air aata hai. Okay, and everything is set to, all this is minutely monitored, guys. No human being stands there. Imagine a job of this guy. 24 घंटा, he cannot keep on watching कि अच्छा हाँ ये कम हो गया तो ये चालू करो. He'll go mad. Okay, it is completely computerized. Thermostats or whatever what are those valves which measure the pressure is all set into action. After certain pressure is maintained, okay, it will automatically stop till the pressure drop, then again it will start. So it's all automatic. Like what happens in your AC, okay, like what happens in your thermostat. आपके घर में geyser होता है, right? Suppose by chance you forget to switch off the geyser, does it go on and on and on? फट जाएगा ना, इतना गर्म पानी, it will burst. So what happens is there are thermostats within the geyser. So as soon as the water temperature reaches 80 degree and you know that, oh God, this is the problem, वो thermostat खुद ही off कर देता है. So electricity supply stops itself. And so till the water stops to certain level, it goes to 30, 40, again it will start. So only problem is you will get a very massive bill at the end of the month, because एक पूरा दिन you were sitting in the office or in the college while geyser was on and off because of the thermostat. If the thermostat was not there, it would have burst. Same thing happens here. Okay, the thermostats or pressure stats, basically what do you call, a device which will monitor the pressure, required pressure, and that required pressure is set by the consultants and the people who make these instruments. Okay, they are the people who are experts in this. So what is the funda in this? So you fill it with 1/3 of the 1/3 of the tank with water, and 1/4 of it is filled with very highly compressed air. So you are now sitting on the 15th floor. You open a tank, एक बाल्टी भरता है, okay, water goes down because it has come from the same cylindrical tank. You fill the bucket, the water goes down, okay, little pressure goes down, okay, you are still within that thermostat ka, sorry, within that pressure stat ka effect. Someone else opens the tank and you washes the vessel in their house, okay, little bit more water goes down. Somebody else flushes the tank and something else goes down, okay, और चलो flushing तो दूसरी tank से आएगा, but किसी ने laundry चालू किया, till a point where the pressure drops beyond the set parameter, okay, the moment it goes below, पानी भी चालू होता है, air भी चालू होता है, till 1/3 and 1/4 का proportion is, sorry, 2/3 and 1/3 का proportion is back to normal. Did you get the principle what I just said? Okay, should I repeat? Hello.
Yes, repeat me.
Okay, okay, I'll ask you to imagine this, okay, because इससे अच्छा मेरे पास कोई है नहीं कुछ. I cannot. Okay, so you can see this नीचे वाला this thing. So you have a suction tank. Okay, this is my UG tank. From the UG, with the help of the pump, so you see these are the pumps. With the help of the pumps, it is being taken to the cylindrical drum, which is, we call it as a hydropneumatic tank. And do you see these two things on the top? This is all my pressure reading things and all that. तो इसमें two types of pressure का set होता है. One is the pressure for water. Obviously pressure is high water. Water का, because it's liquid, obviously it has more this thing, while air can be, large amount of air can be compressed in a smaller space, बराबर? So that is another pressure. I forgot the word for the wall that measure. Is it barometer? I don't know. Maybe. So yeah. Sorry, I'll take it. ठीक है? Sorry. Yeah. So you have these two valves here. One is measuring the pressure for water and one is measuring the pressure for air. ठीक है? Now you fill this tank 1/4 with the air, compressed air. That means there is a compressor at work. Compressor कहाँ पे use होता है पता है आपको? It's massively used in a refrigeration cycle. And we'll do that next year, but this is where it is used. Compressor, as the name suggests, is what it does. It compresses, whether it's water or air. Generally it is used to compress air. So a compressor compresses the air and pushes into this cylinder. ठीक है? At the same time, दूसरी end से वहाँ पे पानी आ रहा है, okay, from the UG tank via pumps. Even that is coming at a pressure level. Both the barometers will detect certain pressure and automatically the water will stop coming and the air will stop coming, and now the tank is at a neutral state. Then, as I explained, somebody at the 5th floor will open laundry, some water will go down, but it is still within a range. So there are two set of requirements, high and low. If it is very high, water will stop, okay. If it drops below that low, then the water will begin to come inside the water, okay. It will start the water. So one set of program is here and one set of program is for the air as well. Same thing, the pressure drops for the air compressor will start on its own, the water will stop, the pump will start on its own. And basically idea is that my tank should be at the neutral level all the time. That will be the ideal situation. But then it becomes too costly. That means that every time a tap opens, my pump starts. And that is not sustainable. And that's why this barometer help. That it gives me certain time. And that's why your tank should be sized accordingly, that it gives me कि at least 1 घंटा तक तो ये tank मेरे को काम चल सकता है. And so I don't have to start my pumps on and off every 5-10 minutes. That will be like humongous draw of electricity. As I told you, pump draws highest amount of electricity when it starts. Once it works, it is nominal. But when it starts, it requires higher draw. That's why उसको 3-phase लगता है. So that is the thing. So that is how my hydropneumatic system works. So the pressure of the air presses the water and the water is passed all the way. And so now you guys, can you imagine कितना pressure होगा वो air में, that it has a capacity to start the water all the way up, okay, Also, a pump is required to boost that water up. So not only this, but at the same time, the pumps are used to use this kind of a very highly complex technical system, you know. So basically, whether you understand or not, okay, your job is to understand this. As an architect, what you need to provide, you can very well gleefully say, I am not going to give OHT, which is damn good. ठीक है, चलेगा. Okay, but I can do everything else with my, so I can supply all the floors with my hydropneumatic tank. Now, a smart architect will say, okay, I can have multiple tank here supplied by this, okay, uh, where I can say that only for certain time electricity hai, the pneumatic system chala ke I can finish it off, okay, because it is faster. I have supplementary pumps and everything, so I can do that. And the rest of the time gravity से होता है. दो वो थोड़ा मेरे को ज़्यादा ही फार फेच लगता है, because if I can manage with the other pumps, why will I go for this? So that is the reason why I said you use these systems only when OHT is not possible. Okay, when you say that it's really not there for whatever reason, say it's a very wind blown area and you don't want to give the top load mein itna dena hai, or you say that this is an earthquake prone region, I don't want to give OHT at the top and create a kind of a ruckus or danger for the building. So you say I'm having everything at the ground floor, I'm not giving any major point loads on the top, and so that is the reason why I'm not having, or you are near an airport zone where you can't go beyond certain thing and the need of the building has to go to that many level, and so you don't have space for OHT, then go for hydropneumatic. But beware that a hydropneumatic system is highly unsustainable in the speaking money wise as well as energy wise. Yeah, let me go back. So you see these kind of things, you see this metering here, do you see this picture? Yahan pe, so everything is fit with this kind of, you know, it kind of gauges your pressure. So the whole system works on this pressure system. That's why pneumatic, PNEUMATIC, is nothing but pressure. So this is how it works. Clear?
Yes.
Cool. And this is the thing that very clearly it shows. Okay. So do you see 2 UG at the bottom? You see the blue line that is happening. Okay. From the UG, the pipe is taken all the way up. Okay. And you see that there are these various downtakes that is happening. You see these chota UGs on this also. Okay. And from there you have multiple blue color ka drainage lines, water supply lines, everything. थोड़ा छोटा है, but yeah, everything happens within this. So basically when you have these kind of high rise tall structures, actually architect's job become very easy. If you design a damn good core, okay, your all entire services is very well taken care of. Unlike a very broad kind of a building institution where everything is like scattered here and there, फिर तुम्हारा services भी scatter होता है. But in a high rise compact building, if you design with sensitivity and if you design with this kind of care, you can really design a very smart compact core, have all kind of services within that, and you are done. That's exactly what this diagram is trying to do. Yeah. So you see the drainage lines happening, though it's very faint, dikhta nahi hai, but these are the line that is going down all the way. And then this is the line, existing drainage line is written here. So all these lines, do you see these horizontal lines being connected here? Can you see my cursor? So yeah, so this is how the whole line is being taken out then. So this is how you will also need to show. So these are the kind of diagrams we expect when you do your thesis level, where you are very clear of what is it that you intend to do for your building technology wise. Yeah. So anything that I missed out? Pressure relief, wide variation. Okay. Wide variations in pressure are undesirable and uneconomical, but they are sometimes unavoidable in this type of storage because it's mechanical. Anything can go wrong. ग्रेविटी में क्या रॉन्ग हो सकता है? कभी भी कुछ भी रॉन्ग, ग्रेविटी इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू एग्जिस्ट ना, सो नेवर कैन, एज लॉन्ग एज आई हैव OHT on the top and with the help of the gravity water is coming down, I'm happy. But not so with this. यहाँ पे कुछ भी गड़बड़ हुआ, any kind of variations in the pressure, and you can be resting assured that you will not get water. Okay, so yeah, that's what I meant, that these are kind of a very specialized services that you will use only in certain cases where it demands. Otherwise, don't even think about applying this unless there is no other third option left in your life. Till then, explore every kind of other thing. Last choice should be this. See, care must be taken to note that in any installation, चाहे वो छोटा building हो या बड़ा complex building हो, pump should not be thrown on and off. चालू बंद 30 minutes के बीच में नहीं, 15 to 30 minutes, because if imagine pumps going on and off every 5 minutes, खराब हो जाएगा. Okay. The underground storage tank should be equal to day's total requirement, goes without saying. Okay, every zone agar hai, suppose you are, again, if the building is like Burj Khalifa, एक ही system thoda काम, again you will have to zone, so every zone will have its own pneumatic system. My god, so you can imagine the kind of pressure that you are asking for and kind of space you have to design, and then you forget about services when you are planning. God help you. Really, nobody else can help you, because client will throw you out otherwise, because then you will have to eradicate some of the programs that you have managed to fit where actually the services should have come. And when I talk about pneumatic systems, they will generally be applied in a very, very complex situations demanding really advanced services. So yeah, they come under advanced services. So in such a scenario, the requirement of the spaces generally doubles up. And so yeah, that's why we say, as you increase the complexity in architecture, your services doubles up. So जहाँ पे हम 30 या 15 से काम चला लेते थे, where I also calculate my service corridors, my service corridors क्या, circulation is also part of services. So all your corridors are part of your services. Your staircases, your lifts, which we are going to tell you, your escalators, everything is a part of services. वो सब अगर कैलकुलेट किया तो 30% तो ऐसे ही होता है. And then when you talk about high-rise buildings where you are talking about boiler systems and you're talking about hotels or hospitals for that matter, where you have oxygen requirement, you as an architect will be asked to provide spaces in the fall ceiling where you can run your oxygen pipes, which will be supplied from the main supply center and has to go to each and every room, if especially in an ICU, this thing. You can't keep on rotating those huge cylinders जो आपको nursing homes में दिखता है, because nursing home is probably in a building where it was never thought of as a 4 room को बना के एक nursing home बना दिया. You see the commercial nursing homes come up like that. So there it's okay. But when we're talking about a large massive scale hospital, then all these things will have to go into it. Pakka air conditioning. So COVID was a very good example where people realized कि hospital में जाके ज़्यादा COVID cases बढ़ रहे हैं, because there was no proper pressurization of the zone. You know what happens in an AC? AC में if your entire building is centralized AC, your building is very likely going through something we call it as sick building syndrome. What is it we will do later on, but I'm just telling you. So these are some of the very crucial services which can kind of make or break a building, So there were these massive webinars being held only on service planning, hospital planning. A whole series of webinar happened, which was really amazing. Yeah, so any questions? I think I finished with the topic. You can stop recording, Ankush, if these guys don't have any questions. Hello.